Welcome to Honestly Becoming. I'm your host, Mary Angelica, and this is your daily 5-minute podcast focused on mindset, entrepreneurship, and personal growth. Be ready for mindset shifts and powerful questions to help you uncover the version of yourself that is most authentic, successful, and honest, so that you can get closer to that version 5 minutes at a time. Let's create your most successful and fulfilling life. Tune in every day to start honestly becoming the best version of yourself. Today, I'd like to bring to your attention the idea of this thing that I keep hearing, which is, well, let's not get our hopes up yet, right? Let's not truly believe it's going to happen. Let's wait and see. Let's protect ourselves. Have you heard that before? Have you said it before? Because I know I have. Often, we will try to mask what we really want, because the idea of not getting it could break us. It could be the thing that we say, well, I will not be able to survive if this doesn't come to be, so I'm just going to expect the worst, and that way anything that happens is going to make me feel better, because it's going to be a bonus, because it's going to, amazingly feel like, oh, at least we got that bit, in there, or at least we succeeded in that little way. But the thing is, removing yourself from wanting and from expecting that greatness or that success or that thing that you really want to happen is never going to take away the feeling of disappointment that you will inevitably feel if it doesn't come true. And I'm going to share with you a personal story, and I will give you a trigger warning, because I would love for you to stop listening if you do not want to be triggered around miscarriages. So please stop listening if this is something that will be triggering for you. I want to be very upfront that this story involves a miscarriage. I had 2 miscarriages before I had my firstborn son. And I've shared about this a lot publicly, but of course many of you may not know this. So what happened was, the first time that I went through a miscarriage, right? I had been super excited my entire pregnancy. Every single day was a celebration. Every single day was a milestone. I was excited. I was taking my pictures. I was doing all the things. When we lost that baby, there was a lot of trauma involved with that loss, right? Like, of course, there would have been. There was a loss of a life. Now, the second time that I got pregnant, I remember feeling detached in a way that I could only describe as me protecting myself from what I was afraid could come true, which is that I could miscarry. So I felt myself, still excited, of course, about me being pregnant, but this weird disconnect with those emotions, this weird disconnect with not really wanting to go all in, because I was really scared of what would happen if I lost it. I didn't think I could survive it. So I didn't celebrate as much. I didn't host like a whole big surprise thing. We didn't do the whole telling the whole family in a cool way. We just kind of told them and all those things. And I took away a lot of the celebration from that journey. What happened next was that I lost this pregnancy. And the amount of devastation that I felt was not any different from the one that I felt for the first time. There was this devastating loss and this sadness that took over, that I thought I had been protecting myself from. I thought that I had been shielding myself enough, separating myself enough, detaching myself enough for it not to hurt, but it still did. So with all of this said, I'm trying to bring home the point of, often we try to mask the things that we want in fear that if we don't get them, we will be disappointed. So we say, yeah, I applied for this thing. I applied to be a speaker at this event, but if I don't get it, it's okay. I don't really care anyways. I just did it to do it, but whatever happens, happens. It doesn't really matter. I'm not really that excited for it. I did it just to try. Deep down, you want to speak at that event. You really do. You think it would be incredible for your business. You want that level of exposure. You want to be able to share your story in that way. But putting yourself out there in a way that says, I applied for this and I'm excited about it, and I can't wait to find out if I've been selected, and oh my goodness, I just visualize myself speaking on that stage and I think it's going to be incredible. I really, really, really want this. We say these things and we want those things, but we never really voice them that way because we're afraid. We're afraid that if we get rejected, that it will break us, or that we will look like a fool, or that we have let our hopes up only for them to be shattered. But if you don't get accepted, right, two things can happen. One is you'll be equally devastated, and B, you'll just tell yourself like, yeah, I knew it. I knew I wasn't going to get chosen. And you feed yourself a story of someone that does not achieve and someone that can't. So you're like you're stacking on these anchoring stories of why you don't succeed. With my third pregnancy, the one that led to me having my first living child, I decided to take every day as it came, to celebrate the moment that I was in and expect to be pregnant, because that day I was. And how dare I rob myself of the emotions of being pregnant? Now, with something like this, and obviously something traumatic, it did not remove anxieties that I had, right, about losing the pregnancy. But it also allowed me to really embody a pregnant person's identity and just really sit in and enjoy the journey for whatever and however long it lasted. It was one of the most vulnerable things that I've ever done, getting pregnant after miscarrying. It's one of the ways that I've shown myself the most strength. But also, it has taught me a valuable lesson that why not expect the best? Because the disappointment will not go away either way. So you might as well expect the best. That's what I'll leave you with today.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please leave a review. It helps the podcast be found by more people like you so they too can join us every day. Find me on Instagram at honest.ceo and feel free to share a screenshot of the podcast and tag me so I can see you and say thanks. Visit honestceo.co/calendar to get your free affirmation and manifestation prompt calendar in your inbox on the 1st of every month. Thanks again, and stay honest.